That's it. We are going live. There's nothing else to be said about it. We are going live. That's right. Boom. Online. Epic. Check audio, because you always gotta do that. Okay, that sounds alright. One day it's going to happen where I'm gonna start the stream and there's gonna be no audio, and then that's gonna be the only day I forget to check the audio. That's gonna be I can already foresee that. That's gonna happen for sure. Like the one time I forget to check, I'll end up having no audio. Hello, good evening. Welcome back to doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Except this is not really doing the same thing because I'm iterating on a thing, but you get the point. That's a joke. Blah blah blah. Audio is blown out. Why? Hold on. Oh, I see why. Wait, we'll fix it. Never mind, I don't see why. Is it better now? Let's look at OBS. This seems like it should be correct. Hold on, let me listen on the preview. Wait, this is very quiet. Now, it sounds correct on my... It sounds... Epic. Fuck you. You got me. Bastard. Good one. Good one. GG. Well played. Damn it. I should have expected that. That's on me, honestly. I should have known this one was coming. Alright, anyway, drawing, yes? Question mark, parentheses? Absolutely, that's what we do here, maybe. Right, so, as rightfully pointed out when I sent an expert to Nebu last time, he was like, I don't see the difference between the previous one and this one, and I took a look at it and I was like, I understand why. I understand why you would say that, and therefore I think that means that either I go for like a revolution on one of the elements of this, or it's basically mostly how it should be, and now I actually need like the adjustments it needs are not subtle improvements on particular bits of the image, but rather more sweeping like tone adjustments, etc., to get the feel right, because the geometry and like the general everything that should be in the image is there and is mostly right. So, point being, I think we're gonna be slowly or quickly, depending on how it goes, we're gonna be trying to bring this home, as in we're gonna be trying to actually finish this, which you know, just gonna try and get this to a state where I can happily export it and say like, yes, this is done. We are Gucci. I don't know how long that'll take. Video doesn't exist. I see the preview. That's false. There's no way. There's no way. That's fake. You can't follow up one troll with another like that quickly. Like, surely. But on the other hand, you did make me check, so you know you can take that as a victory if you'd like. Because I wouldn't wanna accidentally because I see there's an opposite problem to that as well, where somebody gets too paranoid about chat trolling and they don't check, but the audio is actually blown out. Like something is actually completely busted and you can't see the stream. So I'd rather be the butt of the joke and check it than ignore it and then have a busted up audio for the entire stream. Are you sure that endlessly editing minute details of the picture isn't your preferred option? Well, yes and no. I realize that's probably a joke, but I don't really... I obsess over details, but granted, you can't really... I would be stupid to deny with how much evidence there is to support that claim, but there's also a point at which I'm like, okay, yeah, this is probably as good as I'm getting this, and if I wanted to make it like, if I wanted to get like an order of magnitude improvement, I'd basically have to redo the entire image. So instead, I'll just let it be what it is, and then the next project is just going to incorporate what I've learned from the previous one. Is kind of how I look at that. So I don't necessarily want to endlessly have one project and just do tiny things, which is granted like easier usually to do, but would this be a Todd drawing stream if we didn't answer a joke with autism? It wouldn't be. That's why I'm doing it. I have to do it. I'm legally and contractually obligated to continue taking jokes seriously and answering them with immense amounts of autism. I think I'd lose out on entertainment value if I didn't do that. What do you think the stream would be if I just like were able to comprehend jokes? I would be like, haha, funny, and then I would never say anything ever at all. This is not a false dichotomy, this is a true dichotomy. These are the only two choices that you can make about this. You are either getting autism or you are not getting anything at all. This is how we roll on this channel. Perhaps. Too bad. My stream, it's my autism. It's my stream and I get to choose the autism. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, but in terms of like details that definitely need a bit of work, these leaves were bothering me for a while, so it's not like I'm literally not going to touch any smaller details, but top 10 autism flavors. Number 1, autism response to jokes. Number 2, autism about trains. That's probably higher though. That's gotta be high on the hierarchy of autism flavors. Like train autism is high tier. Somewhere on the bottom is probably like sexual autism. if you're autistic about, you know, all that stuff, then you probably land somewhere on the bottom of the top 10 autism's flavors. You'd be low on the tier list. Controversial opinion, I know. Anyway, leaves, anybody? Drawing that? We're doing that? How do I wanna... Because I kind of like the... I like the like goofy, simple, splashes shapes I had for these leaves, but not sure if the way I drew them was quite the best. I wanna basically stack a couple layers of blobs with like different colors on top of one another, and kind of hope that it works out. That's what I'm going for. Number 9, the Roman Empire. I've heard you are like legally obliged to think about the Roman Empire all the time, and I'm sorry to break it to anybody, but I do not do that. I do not think about the Roman Empire at all. Which might be because I'm not particularly my flavors of autism do not include historical autism. I'm not very doesn't tickle my fancy. So not really too much in terms of Roman Empire. Sorry. Sorry to disappoint. I know. This is gonna cause my autism coin to go down probably across the globe. But unfortunately, I had to say it because it's true. Wouldn't be a real autism stream if we didn't talk about details like that. Of course. Maybe I should rename these streams to just autism streams instead of drawing streams, because what is there more of? Is there more drawing or is there more autism? What thoughts? if you were to quantify between these two, what is there more of on these streams? Is there more autism or is there more drawing? I'll be taking opinions. I thought about the Roman Empire because of the meme more than about any reason previous. Yeah, I was thinking that's probably just because of the type of people who would kind of respond to that meme are kind of predisposed to be people who do that. And also it's funny. You can't forget this justification, which you know, it's, I guess, a funny idea to say that. Oh, people think about things. Haha, Lamau. That's I think effectively what the meme is. The drawing is the vehicle for the tism. It's a symbiosis. We are doing both, right? It's like they both benefit the other. One benefits the other. They cannot coexist separate. They cannot exist separately. They exist together in a like yin and yang or something. I don't know. That's not the correct layer. Okay, which? This. Because this layer also has a tree on it, so just gonna add a little bit more, a couple more blobs to it. I'm thinking. Just wanna have these trees look a little more. I might desaturate these and brighten them a little bit. I think this tree is fine, but I think more the tree in the background. It's a little bit the leaves are a little too harsh, I feel. Like they are, because of the way they are drawn, I think I have to compensate a little bit with the color to make them not stand out over the rest of the tree. Oops. Alright. Brighten. Saturate a little more. Okay, how's this look? Oh yeah, that's a no-brainer improvement in terms of brightening that up. We can... I'll accept this. I'll accept this at the very least for now. I'll accept this. Okay. So that's one of the things I wanted to do. This guy needs to look better. I don't know. I don't know what's up with him. But like he looks bad when zoomed out on the image especially, and I don't really know why, but I think I need to work on him a little bit. But before that, I want to be mostly done with the background. So grab this. So I want to add a little bit to these cliffs, because they are currently just very like one color, which makes them kind of just a blob. So I want to add a little bit of like different and more yellowish tones to them as well. Kind of to like increase the complexity of this, like how complex this looks. This is too much though. Like I need to crank it back. How's the launcher release going? I mean, I released the version. I haven't really gone like very... I've not gone, because this is not yet the release that I'm going to be pushing more in a quote-unquote marketing direction. So for now I just released it, and I'm hoping the people who already are using the launcher can benefit from what I've done. But the main reason why the release is hype and why it's important for me is because it allows me to develop the most important feature that I want to bring to this, which is icon pack support. And when I have icon pack support, then I want to push it out to more people, and then I'm hoping it's going to start spreading a little bit more. But that's a feature I need. So for now, I am happy about it because I have it out, right? It's like my work has kind of paid off. I can get this out of the door, and it works. But then, in terms of how good this actually is for people, it's like the patch notes are much less impressive than you know how much effort it's consumed on my part to do it, which is fine because this is like a stepping stone, but it's just a very this is like a milestone effectively. It's a very it's more important than it looks. I think is how I'd describe that. So yeah, so the release from that point of view has gone great because I released it. And then we'll see when I release Icon Pack support, then I'll see if how impactful it actually really was is gonna be noticed by how many people are gonna hop on when I release the feature I am most excited about releasing, like building and releasing, because it still needs to be written. But I have a decent I have decent progress on it. I know how I want to do it. I've basically now just need to punch in the code to do it, and then we're gonna be good. All right. So in the interest of not overblowing this, the amount of, yeah, I think that's an improvement on these cliffs. Just adding a little bit of texture to them, effectively. With that, I think this side is mostly fine. I don't really have to do it, but maybe a little bit of variety is also gonna help with that. So, you know, just add a little bit of color to that. Yeah, I think okay. I don't wanna work too much on the background. Just import icons, easy, a llama foul noob. Sure, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. Thanks for the tip. Actually, I didn't think about that. There's a certain degree of difficulty with that. Comes from the fact that the standard for like icon packs doesn't exist. It's just like some launcher made it a certain way, and then people have been adding to it, and other launchers have been implementing it kind of the same like the original launcher. So it's like a big whole mess, and there's not really a single source of documentation of what is supported and how to add support for it yourself. And also not too many people have made launchers, so it's not like there's a lot, you know, of different things you can reference and take a look at to figure out how to do it. So you kind of have to improvise a little bit, but that's fine. I don't mind a little bit of experimentation, and I already have most of the building blocks in place to achieve it, so I'm gonna be fine. Okay, I have a fairly big. Okay, look, rebalancing this is one thing, but I have a kind of big sort of idea for how to make this image pop a lot more, because I currently think the background is still a little bit too flat. I don't know if anybody shares that opinion. That is not sure. However, I feel like currently this is a little bit flat, and I think some like rays of light and some additional glow are going to basically seal the deal on this looking nice. I'm not really sure how to do it, which is something I keep repeating over and over again when it comes to doing things on this, and they just kind of keep working out. So I'm hoping it's gonna be fine, but I have a kind of big. Yeah, you know what I don't have a fairly big? I don't have a fairly big vocabulary, apparently. That is on the fairly small side of things. Look, stick with me. The background should be flat. It's the background. I don't mean like literally that background, that is like the most background of layers, but I don't want the entire, I want there to be depth to the image still, a little bit, and I'm not quite happy with what it is there, so I want to do a little bit of experimentation that's going to be simple to do. Like, okay, so like see this, and then we probably do it like that. Like something like this, but this is like very bright and very rough. So what I'm thinking is we add a little bit of, like, we add a little bit of complexity to this, where it like only comes through through some places, something like that, or maybe it's a little random. So like you can see there's light shining through, light rays. It was backlit, not sidelit. Yeah, that's fair. I kind of have the lighting to the side, but not quite that much. So this probably should be more vertically. Yeah, I highlighted the edges to be a little more backlit. So I guess it would be better if these were like central, kind of coming from above and from the back. Otherwise you need to redo edge highlights. I might need to. Frankly, the lighting on this is a little bit of a mess. I don't have a very good idea how I actually want the lighting to look, and I think that might be what is causing this to look a little bit weird. Because different elements are kind of shaded, but then also kind of not really. And it's a little bit of a mess in the way it looks. But I'm thinking something like this could maybe function, and then we could maybe filter it. I don't know if that's a good idea. I want to have a blur layer on top of it, let's say just a Gaussian. Don't know if this is a good idea. This is an experiment, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, spaghetti bolognese, etc. Okay. Now, is this an improvement over... this takes a horrendous amount of time to render. Might be a worthwhile undertaking. In terms of like understanding what the lighting, fixing lighting, yeah, that might be, because I think that... the lighting should probably have a little bit of color to it. Like if I wanna have light rays, I probably don't want them to be just, if I color this, does it change at all? Not really. Hold on. I've lagged the entire, I lagged Krita out with this. Oh yeah, that's way too green. Stop it. Cancel the operation, okay. Because it's redrawing the blur like 50 million times when I do that, so I should probably disable it. But like more on the yellow side and not that saturated, because that looks horrendous. But I'm thinking, yeah, something like that, and then addition maybe on it in terms of the filter, and then blur it. And now we have a little bit of little additional gradients on top of the image that make this look a little bit nicer, or maybe even a lot nicer, I think. Now it is a matter of adjusting the thing. The edges on this, I think the edge lights are not too bad, because the scene, I don't want the scene, if it's top lit, the green makes sense. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking. It's kind of from the top. And like, if you are looking at this, if you are looking at the scene from the front, the sun is kind of on top of it, like above it. And yeah, it is kind of backlighting. It's lighting the trees from kind of the back, but mostly from above. So I think I'll adjust there need to be more highlights like here, for example, and there, and on these branches. And that's going to make a lot more sense with how this is also kind of lit from the top. And also with these highlights on the grass there. And I think that plus these highlights, which I am doing now, that's gonna look pretty good. Not sure. Okay, let's maybe do that so I can actually see what I'm doing. I'm thinking maybe I could stack 2 layers of this on top of one another, like 2 different ones, basically. Normal, please. Okay, normal. So, oh, this is a completely different color. I didn't realize. Yeah, lighting through the leaves of trees is basically the idea for why I want this to be have a little color to it. I should probably also have a mask on top of it. Let's add transparency mask and hit it with a filter from black to white, but the other way around. There we go. And then just do that better. Like probably filter it out like this, so you can actually see the light visibly fade as it goes down. And then yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to do. Thank you. Thank you. Very, very nice. Right, so now we kind of... like this layer is behind these, for example. So maybe what I'd do is I'd scrap this from this layer, have just a little bit of like a top highlight here, so it's not overwhelming with that. Something like this, and then I'd like to have another layer that is on top of all this. It's kind of just behind the foreground, or maybe even on top of the foreground. And I think that's going to add a lot of depth for not much effort, I suppose, is the way to say that. And okay, so like this is super bright, but I don't want to, yeah, something like this. And I don't even know if I want to blur it necessarily, because it might look better when it's not blurred. I don't know, but this is certainly going to do a lot of good for the image, just as long as I keep it under control. So I'm thinking I duplicate the setup, I put it in front of the waterfalls and the big mushroom, and maybe even the foreground. Where did that go? To the very bottom. Awesome. Good work, buddy. Right, foreground, no. Please, here. Can you move? Hello? Hello? There we go. Alright, now we disable this layer, which is light rays mid, and then we have this layer, which is light rays foreground. And now we just adjust these to be in different spots than the ones on the other layer. So you kind of grab this, we grab the color. The layer has a little bit of the tism. Surely not, it's fine. I would never suggest that. Okay, and now we, add a little bit of shine on top of this, maybe. Like break it up by a bit to not overblow it. Yeah, the kind of just add a little bit of noise to it, and I want to make sure that I'm not exactly doubling up on the ones that are already there. So a little something in front of these probably could happen. Like, just adding a little bit of additional layering on top of what is already there, and this should look pretty decent when I enable both of these. So, okay, let's do that. Now let's replace the gradient on this, because this is in the foreground, so I want to go for more... I'm not drawing on the correct layer. What is this? I'm doing it the other way around. I'd like this to only be cut off near the very bottom. Wait, oh, this is a foreground to transparent gradient, that's why. Yeah, I want to replace the existing gradient, I don't want to do that. Okay, something like this in terms of the overlay, and then we switch it to addition. Make it a lot more transparent. Maybe enable the Gaussian blur mask. And then this could be... we could like have this mask be a lot more... what's the radius on this? 100? Can I go beyond 100, please? Hello? Okay, thank you. 300 pixels? The maximum is 100. You're just not allowed to do more, I guess. Well, fine. 100 it is then, I suppose. Whoops, not that. This. So I also don't want to overdo the effect. I want it to be somewhat subtle. Like, introduce a little bit of gradients to the image, so maybe the foreground could be a little more saturated. This is not very visible. Let's try it without the blur for now. And then we enable the blur if it makes sense. Not sure if it will, but maybe? A touch of color on it. Yeah, I think a touch of color like this works pretty well. This is like fairly aggressive. This mask could probably work better if it was less blurred. Now that I think about it again. Maybe not all the way down to like almost no blur, but okay, a little bit more like this. And then let's try and then enable the other layer on top, like in the back. That one can be more blurred. I think that I've kind of accidentally doubled up on the light rays way more than I wanted. Yeah, it seems like I've doubled up on them more than expected. Ooh, I kind of like this like overexposed look to it too. Because I like the... Yeah, this looks... this has something to it with the like slightly overexposed edges, etc. I think this is... this might be the way to go actually with it. Now, if I do that to the foreground, like the entire image becomes like glossy, so I don't want to do that. But for the background, and look, if I disable that, I think this is actually what is missing from the image. I just need to fiddle with it a little bit to make it look better, but this looks better for sure in terms of like the actual feel of the scene. I think this is gonna be the improvement I was looking for from it. Just need to work on it a little bit. Okay, so let's go back to having this in the normal. You know what I can do? I think, not sure if I can set it up, but if I could add a clone layer, and I don't know if that copies all the effects on it as well. Yeah, it does. So you can do a clone layer. Maybe I can do it like this. And this. And then this is the... whoops. Hold on, let it update. Okay, so now I have the original light rays effects, and then this is light rays source. So now I have two layers, kind of, and I can adjust them separately. So like addition on this one and make it transparent, but not too transparent, not like, gotta have a decent amount of transparency to it. Now I have this layer, which is still the source layer, and I can like hide that for better performance. And then adjust this, and because that is based on a clone layer, it's now going to just copy whatever edits I make to this are just going to be copied over. So I'm going to end up with this being neat. Okay, I think what I should do is I should bring this in front of this layer, and maybe even in front of the waterfalls. No, this one can't be in front of the waterfalls. Or maybe it can be. You know what? We'll see what it looks like when I finish. Okay, light rays effects. Let's see what this looks like. No, this is better. This is better when it's in front of these a little bit. Maybe I'll split it into two layers. This is maybe will happen. Gonna fall asleep. Good night. Bye-bye. Enjoy falling asleep. And I shall continue. Disable that. Re-enable it. Yeah, this is getting a little laggy, but we'll bear with it, I think. Now, this is a good color for it. I just this one, please, and we paint on it. Like, I'd like this to be a little more on the, more vertical. And then I don't want it to be like a massive just beam. I'd like this to be a little more, I'd like to mix it up a little bit. And then I could introduce, like, you know, instead of introducing more layers, I could just have little bits of light behind like this. So it like kind of affects the final look of it. Or maybe I will just duplicate the setup with more layers. That's also like a thing I'm thinking about. Not sure which one to go for yet. Like this, and maybe then carve out like a hole for that. And, you know, have a little bit of this in the background behind the structure. That kind of thing. And then cut like a little bit of a hole in these just to make this look a little more interesting. Like something like that. Okay, let's see how this looks when I might have overdone it with this last one, but let's see what it looks like. Yeah, this is overdone. Because now this is like all of these are now very accented. But you know what I can do? I can grab some of them. Why is this? These are apparently like different colors. Oh, because I'm on the wrong layer. Never mind. I can grab some of these like this, this. Not that maybe. But like this. Oh, this selects both of them. That's why. Undo that. We'll select this via lasso. It's gonna be easier to do. I didn't hold shift. No. Well, accidentally replaced the selection. Yeah, and then we can modulate the color of these. So like we could make it darker simply. And because it's addition, it's only going to... Yeah, because it's addition, it doesn't matter that it looks darker on this. It is actually also going to add to the final product. Maybe this is overdone. Let's try and disable the blur. No, that's the transparency mask. This is the blur. Yeah, the blur is kind of necessary, I think. This is, but we dropped the radius on it to like maybe 60 instead of 100. Nah. Like, it definitely needs to affect the foreground as well, because if it doesn't, that looks bad. But I don't want the foreground to also like be below the background completely, and also this is kind of too much. I think the original... Yeah, this is probably needs to be simplified a whole lot. So like remove these. I think this, and this won't be responding much. That's alright. I don't mind it. I'm just experimenting kind of with this, so I don't even have like a lot of conversational value at the moment because I'm just kind of experimenting with how this goes. So enjoy yard work. Good luck? Question mark? Maybe? Yes. Yeah, good luck. Sure. We'll hit the good luck. Hitting the good luck button for you. Ready to install the latest Windows update? No. Snooze. Go away. Explode. I am not ready to install any updates. I hate updates. Every update I get makes the software that updates worse. I can never fix any bugs. Nothing gets better. Every update just continuously makes every piece of software just considerably worse. Not a huge fan, I'll be frank. I'm not a huge fan of that. Okay. Let's see. And now with these, I could like move them like that. And then we can disable this. Now we ended up with a very, like the image is overblown, but we can kind of fix that by reducing the opacity of the background. And then the foreground can be made... Oh, this is gonna like take 12 years to render though. Or isn't it? Or is it? Huh. Okay, something like this. Oh yeah, we can overblow the foreground a little bit. And then unoverblow the background. Gooding. I'm currently smearing shiny light rays on top of the entire image to ruin it completely beyond repair. That is the plan at the moment. Maybe addition isn't the correct filter for this. Although... No. I don't actually know enough about filters to choose a correct one, like, intentionally. So I guess I'll just kind of see what is available. Let's disable the background for now, and let's see how this looks just in isolation. And this is pretty bad. Addition. I'm thinking addition is the way to go about it. It's just, I just have to use it smarter. We can crank the saturation up all the way on this. And I can also like darken it up to make the saturation matter more. And kind of, we could go all the way into like this green. Like more into the green anyway. And then maybe drop the saturation down a little bit. A tinge. And then unangle the rays, and I think that's going to be... Okay, let's do the same trick. We add a clone layer, we apply the mask and filter to the clone layer instead of the original, and then we put the original on top. So this is light rays of X, light rays FG, and then this one is going to be addition and like 41%, and this is going to be 100% and normal. Boom. Any way to simulate ray tracing and just set a light source off to the side? I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think that's even possible, because the scene doesn't really have... I guess I could bring it into Blender, but then I'd have to somehow translate it to a 3D scene. Which is, you could probably do, but I think it would look worse, not better, for something like this, because this is fairly stylized as well. So I don't know how well you could actually replicate it with. Yeah, I do have layers, so I could make it. I could transport it into like put it on geometry in a 3D space, but one, I don't really want to do that. And two, as I said, with a stylized render like this, I don't think that using just a 3D shading program is going to have results that quite fit what I'm going for. I have tried something like that, where I tried to draw something and then build it into a 3D scene. There's some considerations to be done, because when you're working with flat things, they behave a lot differently than 3D objects do. So you have to somehow represent the same thing that you have on the 2D image in 3D space to actually shade it believably. It's a fairly difficult task to actually try and go for. Okay, I think this is mostly an improvement. Maybe like decrease the intensity of this though. That's the thing, I'd like it to be more intense in like lighter areas and then less intense in the background. So maybe the way to do this would be to increase the brightness of this and then play with the... Wait, increase this. It's not locked, this is just hidden. Like brighten it up a little bit. Up. Because I do like this. Like, I like the effect this has given the image. This is an improvement. I'm just not sure how to go about it to the fullest. Let's enable the second underlying layer. I think that is too much. I think what I have on the foreground is mostly enough. Either that, or I need to rethink how I go about the background. Because, okay, so this is just the background. Not quite sure how to approach this. I'll be perfectly frank. Don't even know what to try really. Because I don't want to completely overblow the entire background with just an overlay layer on top of it. Actually, you know what? This might actually benefit from hiding this layer behind certain things, like behind these, and then it only covers some of that, not the left. Yeah, so it's above that, but it's in front of everything else. Goes from summer afternoon to Be Not Afraid real quick. I mean, yeah, if you like crank it up all the way, then it's like, yes, lemon. It's not what I wanna have. I do want this to be visible a little bit over the foreground, that's the thing. But maybe I desaturate this particular one. Maybe I like desaturate it a lot more and brighten it up a little bit. I guess this is kind of depending on what I choose for these colors, that changes the look of the image a lot. Because it's like changes the entire balance of that. Let's see. So like this is, for example, brighter, but I could like saturate it more and then darken and then bring it towards greenish more a little bit. That gives the background a different kind of look. So I guess this is just about a little bit of fiddling around just to figure out what looks better. But I kind of like this only being in the background. I'll be honest. I kind of like this. I mean, there is a little bit of the foreground, but I like the background being way more intense. Like the effect being way more intense in the background. I think I just need to pick a better color for it, because this like green is not quite right. maybe it needs to be a little bit more of the on the like orange yellow kind of side, because that I think determines what time of day it looks like a little bit as well. I might actually let's try and go like all the way into like a red orange. Let's see what this looks like. Because the background is already fairly green, so it's fine to go for a different color on this. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. This is good. Green made a big difference. Can see it being under a big canopy of branches. What do you think of this more orangey tone? Because I think this orangey is. I think this orangey now looks a little bit less like branches and more like the sun is more like lower down and kind of setting, which doesn't exactly fit the rest of the scene. I kind of like it more like in isolation, but I think for the scene it makes less sense. Although, do let me know with feedback, because I frankly find it very hard to gauge something like this. Let's try and return to green for a while. Yeah, I think the green in context looks better. It's better for this to be green. And then the foreground is also green, I guess. We could make the foreground more in the like orangey yellow. Maybe, because I kind of don't want to give up on the idea entirely. So perhaps, I think the background is currently too saturated, honestly. The background light rays are too saturated. I need to decrease the amount of color that goes on over there. Now it feels like you're looking out from a cave. Yeah, it's too intense. I don't wanna be. Yeah, something like this. It's a little bit less green. The outside gets washed out since your eyes are used to being inside. Yeah, I don't wanna over. Because this is an intense effect, and it kind of has to be for what it is. But I don't want to overblow the entire image, which I'm kind of afraid I might be doing. Maybe I am way like oversaturating this a lot, and it should be a very subtle tint, and should mostly be white. What do you think of this? I don't know how much delay you are on, actually. That's kind of a problem. I'm gonna hold this one for a while, so it catches up. Because the foreground... Yeah, the foreground just makes a little subtle gradient over the top of everything, basically. Don't see any tents. Screw you. I thought those were huts. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Hi there, hello. You have joined just in time for me losing my mind over colors. Seems to be about 30 seconds of delay. That's a lot. I thought that's a lot less. You have potential. Well, thank you. I could choose to interpret that very positively or very negatively with regards to what the state of the current image. But I'll choose to interpret it positively. Oh my word, this is really laggy. Oh, did I desync them? Yes, I did. Not good. Cancel that. If I want to move anything, I want to move the original. Not the clone layer. Wait, is it? So if I move this one doesn't move. No, it does. Did it? I'm now getting immensely confused. Let's hold on. Yeah, if I move this, it does move the clone, but can this guy make Green Hill Zone from Sonic the Hedgehog? Do you mean me? By this guy, do you mean me? I don't know if I'm gonna be... I have like zero attachment to Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, I understand this is an autism stream, right? But You know. Are we going all the way to Sonic the Hedgehog? I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. Alright, I'm thinking the foreground highlight is nice and subtle, and this is basically what it should be. Just a little, creating like a little bit of a gradient over certain bits of the image. And I think maybe I should bump up the blur on this one. So like crank it up all the way to 100 maybe. Let's see. We'll stop at Sonic. No. We are not going there. It's fine, actually. I am actually perfectly fine not going there. Time before the dinosaurs? Maybe. I have apologies, but I have completely forgotten what I have said that is a reference to. I'm horrible at this. In terms of like tracking multiple threads of things going on. I think I should just stop. I think this is just mostly fine looking, and it doesn't really matter what I exactly do with this. I think this version is okay, and I should focus on doing different things and then re-enable this later and see what it looks like. We don't have to go, that's coming here, the merge is... Shut up. No. Please, I want out. I don't want to do that. Do we really have to? No animals. Well, this is a reference. This is based on a scene from Ori and the Blind Forest, and in that scene, there's not really like there aren't really animals in the forest. The forest is kind of like mostly just. I think it is just enemies in the forest. You don't really have friendly creatures anymore. The whole point is you are kind of trying to save the forest. So because this is a reference, I don't think I'm gonna be adding any animals to this. It could happen, maybe. Carnivorous plants. No, but this is like this is a water level effectively, what this is, and all the enemies are under the water. And so I don't think I want to introduce really any form of that, like additional life to the image through that. I don't think I want to do that, so I'm not going to. Well, no. Okay, so something like this, and then also a little bit of this maybe. But too harsh, but you get the point. Like just a little bit of a highlight on this part, and that helps the tree stand out from the background, which I think should be an improvement over what is there currently. And then these trees and this tree, no, where is it? It's not that, not this. Middle tree, that's the layer. Okay, and then we up the highlight on this a little bit. So okay, let's just do it via this tool. That's going to be easier. So shift it more towards yellow, yellowish green, saturate it a little bit, and then brighten it up. Okay, and then this like highlight, I'd like it to go on this as well. Like this branch should receive a little bit of the highlight, because I'm basically doing a more intense light as an overlay. I would also like it to be reflective on the layers themselves. I don't want to do that, so I'm not going to. I do not remember what I said that in reference to, but you're welcome. This is having a hobby.png, I think, is what that amounts to. It's like, nah, I don't want to do that. It's lost in the cliff. The tree, you think, gets lost in the cliff? Or... amels. Yeah, then this should be highlighted a little bit too. And this should also, yeah, this should make this edge of the tree pop nicely. And then the tree on the right as well, we adjust it. That top branch. You mean this one? From, oh, you probably mean this one, maybe. Maybe. Totally didn't subscribe to your channel, whistles unconvincingly. Well, that's probably good. Probably shouldn't. It's a bad idea. Subscribing to the channel is bad for you. I might one day never upload a video again, and you will never know. This is not a reliable source of entertainment. Okay, this is better. It looks like I haven't changed anything, so on the left of the left. Oh, like this whole part gets a little lost. I might have a low light on it actually. You know what? This is a good idea. I'll differentiate it by adding a low light, as in like a darker shade on top of it. Or rather like a darker shade in that particular place. That's what I'm thinking I'm gonna do. Like make it stand out a little more. And then the leaning tree I would also like to highlight with a little something. You know that. And then on this tree on the left, which is here, we can have a little bit of a low light. You see the idea? Like we just cheat it a little bit by adding a darker shade there, just to help it stand out from the background a little bit. And same with this. I think this is an improvement on that. And then we can also add a little bit of a low light, like some other places, like this maybe could. No, that's too much. Like that can stay, but yeah, that way that stands out a lot more from the background, and it should be covered up a little bit by the highlights in the overlay highlights. Okay, so with those, this is I think too intense a little bit. It sticks out. Let me reduce it. This is left, middle tree, and then we reduce this a whole lot, just leaving a little bit of it still, but not quite in your face like it used to be. Yeah. Something like that. And now let's overlay it with the light rays. And let's see. This tree is the wrong color, I think. I think that might be even more, like it probably needs to be a little more saturated, probably. Now the low light is like really, really dark. And it should be, the whole tree needs to stand out more, so the low light is a cheat and it looks like a cheat, instead of actually feeling natural with the rest of it. So left tree, we are gonna cancel out this out entirely. Actually, I'll keep it. I'll just make it less noticeable. And then I'll take the entire tree and darken it and saturate it maybe a little bit. Wait, actually, let's do it via the levels. Whoa, I had the wrong button. Entirely wrong button. Far edge of an object from the light should be the darkest part. The cliff behind is still getting side light, so it should be lighter. A dark outline on the far side of the foreground objects is kosher. Okay, but I don't want it to be... Valid point, but I think this actually needs a wholesale color adjustment. Like this. I think this looks a lot better. Basically instantly. If you like, can I control Z? Yeah, look at how desaturated and bland it looked before I adjusted it. Now let's redo it. Great, I'm not allowed to redo. Redo. No, I guess we are redoing the adjustment. That's fine. It's a lot better this way. Now a lightning effect criticism stream, that's fine. I'm happy to take criticism. It helps improve the thing. Because bloody hell am I having a hard time figuring out what to do with it myself. Right. Yeah, that. Now this should look a lot better. Especially when there's a little bit of an overlay on it in the background, and then drop the intensity of the overlay a little bit even. Like maybe drop the saturation on it, increase the brightness. And then yeah, I think this is looking pretty darn good, all things considered. Or some things considered, perhaps. I don't know if I've considered all the things. A disclaimer. Can't even hit 1 billion joules of energy. Weak. Pathetic. I forgot there was supposed to be a log here, like floating in the water. I think that could help. Could be an improvement. Okay, let's once again drop the light rays for a moment. Return to the foreground. One thing I wanted to do in the foreground is introduce a couple differently shaped plants. So like, you know, introduce a little bits of greenery like this, maybe. Like something like that to like suggest that there's little, you know, little different types of plants in there. That's kind of something I was thinking of. I don't know if this is, I don't know how good of an idea this is. I'm not reading that out, screw you. Oh boy. What the hell does that even mean? I don't answer that question. I don't want to know. Horrible. There's a hole in this. Yeah, like these little different shapes for some plants, and maybe so it looks like it's not just grass, but there's a little bit of, you know, difference in the type of thing that you would be seeing. I don't know if I'm not explaining this in a great way, or like I'm hardly explaining this in any way at all, but I don't want this to just be grass is the whole point. That's the point, and you can probably safely ignore all the rest of the things I'm talking about, because that's uninformed and nonsense. Yeah, I think just adding a little bit of variety to this is gonna go a long way. And also have some of the plants be a little taller than the others. Because, you know, it's not like this is somebody's lawn that's been like nicely cut and adjusted. Cattails? Wait. Is that like a type of plant? I'd imagine. I could, on the shore, I could, I suppose, have a little bit of that. That could look nice. Okay, hold on. Before I screw up my existing layer, let's maybe put this on vegetarian hot dogs. I bet that doesn't taste nice when you eat it. I bet somebody has tried. We could have like a couple of them. Looks like a corn dog. Yeah. I looked it up. I know what these are. Taste like fiber. Mmm. Sounds awesome and amazing. Would you recommend? What's your score out of 10 for these? Oh yeah. This adds a lot. You should see a video of someone biting at cattail. I think I saw somebody like bite into one of them and they are like soft on the inside of something like that. Where you or like it's like dust or something, like a dust type thing on the inside or something like that. It's like it activates my cringe receptors. It's like I really wouldn't want to be in that situation actually. Like this. Do they have like surrounding hold on. Let's look at the reference again. They have like little bits of like strands of grass, like vertical, high, taller strands of grass around them. So like, I think if I like add a little bit of that in here and just like go wild with them, that's probably an improvement. Yeah, because this makes it. The stalks are actually pretty good emergency water source. The top is basically cotton ball on crack. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The seeds are compacted, and when you bite into it, they basically explode in your mouth. It sounds horrible. I really don't even want to imagine what that feels like, but it sounds like it feels awful. Not jealous of any poor idiots that have decided to try that. You know what? Let's just introduce a couple of these in the back here as well. While we are at it. Yeah, thank you for the suggestion, by the way. This is already looking pretty nice, if I do say so myself, as we've previously established, the most unbiased source of information on this image. It's only bad if your mouth is wet. It feels like that, isn't that most of the time? Like, your mouth is normally pretty wet. Dipping in a few, yeah, sure. Have a fun 7 days to dying, etc. Enjoy gaming. Boop, boop, boop. Dude, this is big, a big improvement. I also want to like have taller grass near the water, because that's I think that's normally how this works, right? Like near the water, the grass gets near the water, the grass gets a little more, like a little taller, because it just has, you know, access to easy hydration. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Been on the annual Minecraft stint. Do you mean that you've started like a new Minecraft world and then gave up on it after like 2 days of playing? Because I can attest that does happen. Most definitely. Yeah, boom. Yeah, this makes the actual like shore of the shore look way better, I'm thinking. And then we can get rid of that. I'll eat into this a little bit, so it's like more or less, yeah, like this. And this looks pretty decent actually. Still playing, P-Box setup, a vanilla and modded server. Cool stuff. I like honestly, Minecraft has kind of stopped speaking to me. It's like if I want to create things, for now at least, I'd rather draw. I find that like more interesting than grinding Minecraft, kind of. I do kind of like, to be honest, I find Minecraft like I like trying to play Minecraft fast. Not like to the level of literally becoming a speedrunner, but the like sandbox nature of the game and how much you can do with it and how much on-the-fly decision making there is to be done, etc. I find it very interesting. Like how many different strats there are, etc. Oh, you got create mod. That's good stuff. I like create mod. Create mod. Big props to create mod. I've enjoyed my time with create. It feels like it should basically be a lot of these things that are in create mode feel like they just should be vanilla, because it removes a lot of the tedium and turns it into interesting gameplay. Instead of like grinding for stuff and then manually going through things, you just set up automation, and it's not like you can set up automation in vanilla, but a lot of it is so complicated and requires so much thinking to actually get to any degree of proficiency with, that you'll probably be building somebody else's design, which is a lot less fun than actually making something for yourself. And create mod actually allows you to do that, because the mechanics are way more approachable if you want to just make something that works for you, you know, good enough. So that allows you to actually just play the game and get stuff done without going out of the game and then like importing somebody's project to build. You grind to set up automation to remove future grind. Grinding gains a goal. Yeah. But then also if you actually set up any other kind of goal for yourself, then it helps a lot. If you're able to, you know, if you're making the whole process of gathering resources a lot more fun and engaging than just, oh, I am gonna be holding mouse 1 on blocks for the next 12 years of my life. You know, that kind of stuff. Okay, this is looking a lot more interesting than it used to. Not sure about the water. The water needs to be updated to match. Already had my playthrough of 7 Days to Die. Playing with Don now for the sake of social thing. Well, look at this guy talking to people. Ridiculous. I would never. Being social? Being social? What? Mods! Mods! Ban this guy. This shore still looks kinda iffy. I don't quite like it. I'm not sure what to do with it yet. Touch grass, why don't you? I'm drawing grass, thank you very much. Do you think I have any time to touch grass while I'm drawing grass? Do you even think about the things you say? Maybe like this? There's something about this shore. If you have any suggestions, I'm happy to take them, but there's something about this that looks wrong. Maybe it's the intense green in the water, I think. Maybe. I overdid that a little bit. Just needs a little touch of the good old iterative process. Is it iterative or is it iterative? Yeah, like a touch of maybe this. And then we just add a little bit of this color to it as well. It's a little later. Bye-bye. Have a fun. More random light blue breaking up the shadow of the deeper waters. Huh. It might not be wrong. Like this might be a little too much. This should just be like the entire thing should just be darker here. It's kind of in the shade, and then we blend between the brighter water and the darker around this point. We have like splashes of maybe lighter blue. This kind of works, I guess. Not quite sure about it. It's a shadow of a cliff, straight line. But this is mostly a straight line, but it's kind of slightly blended. Not... I'm not sure. We like brighter and then bring this a lot more in the darker colors. Something like this, maybe. I don't know where the cliff... I guess the cliff kind of ends here, so this makes a little bit of sense. This is too green, probably, though. It should be a little more... Like, this should be, like, brown reflections if I want to... That's really good, thank you. I will be friendly reminded that I'll be taking all compliments and inflating my ego to the point where I explode live on stream. That's the plan. I'm gonna be doing something like that. Huh. Is this better for the cliff reflection? I'm not sure. Okay. Yeah, we do things like that for entertainment value. Huh. Okay. That's what happened to Ronnie. Do not know who that is, but maybe. It is highly probable and potential. You should have more subs, because that's good. Nah, I don't think I want to. I think I'd rather stay in a comfy couple people show up per stream. I think that's better than, oh, Ronnie McKnight. Bro. I think I'd rather stay in the comfy, just chill, small territory. It's better this way. Don't wanna draw too much attention to myself, because then people start being interested, and then that creates problems. But that's just a thought. I'm not gonna. I'm basically. I hate marketing, so you ain't gonna catch me going out of my way to shill myself. Effectively, so I just draw and I talk for a little bit, and that's it. And then whatever happens, happens. I don't really mind. Anyway, it could go. I'm thinking tree like this, maybe. Have like a little branch sticking out of that. Then inside, color the inside of it as well. Yoink like these colors as well, because I kind of wanna. I don't wanna like invent a whole new color palette for this. Probably. So like this is basically just to create a little bit of texture, and then we grab this color and we add highlights to it. So like this, right? Yeah, I think this looks decent. Pretty much surprisingly out of the box, this looks decent. And the only thing I now need to do is just cut into the side of it a little bit with the like green. I had a name for this and I forgot. Is it like duckweed? I think it's called, like this green thing. So then maybe we just pile the duckweed on top of the log, and then we maybe move it. The log is in the correct spot. I'd like to move this maybe a little bit. and then erase parts of it. So it's no, erase, I said. Eraser. Awesome. Cool. No, actually cancel that. We are going with this, and we are just can just add, like on this layer, we can just draw on top of the log as well. And have a little bit of the green stuff attached to the side of the log, and then that blends it a little bit nicer than just having it straight. Yeah, looks pretty decent. I draw and I speak things, that's true. Gonna play a video game, see it? Bye. Fell asleep for an hour. Alright. Well, I hope you've enjoyed sleeping on the job. Anyway. Algae? Algae. Wait until you hear him speak English? I would never. This has never happened in the history of this channel. I've never done that. No one has ever done that. No one has ever done that in the history of Dota. Sure did? That's nice. Congratulations on achieving sleep. Okay, this should be a little darker inside of here, like a little darker green shade a little bit. I'm really happy with this, how this log turned out pretty much first try. I'm kind of surprised. Wait, wrong layer? Correct layer. Boom. Okay, that's a nice addition to that. I don't know why it took so long to actually add it. Okay, and now let's throw the light rays on top of this. You layer and you learn. Correct. That's pretty decent. These like tips are sticking out a little bit, but I think that maybe is better because it kind of adds the... I think I'm overblowing the light ray effect. I need to like tone them down. I think I don't want them to be overwhelming on the entire image. And maybe the foreground should be a little more intense on them than the background. I'm still not sure. Any opinions, thoughts? Any like points to be made about that? Or are we just good and I should stop worrying about it? I'm thinking these stick out. Like these like dark bits of that stick out more than they should. And that is bothering me. So I'm gonna quickly lighten this up a little bit. So it is still darker than the... Can I... Excuse you. Control U. I'm clicking the button. Oh, this is a... Never mind. My bad. That was not the actual layer. That was the group. Turns out I was the biggest loser of the day. It was me. Let's bring this into slightly darker, but not intensely dark. And then that should not stick out quite as much. Because I want this to be darker, because it, you know, wet wood looks darker. Old footings. I mean, I want these to be darker because things in the water generally do get darker when the things get darker when they are wet. So I want that, but as it stands now, they are too dark and they stick out of the entire thing instead of feeling like a part of it. And the whole point of this is to integrate it better with the background. So if there's just random dark blobs that just draw attention to themselves, that's entirely counterproductive. So I gotta get rid of that and just turn it into a little accent, not the main attention stealer. So just yeah, bring them more in line with the rest of the values on that, and this should look a lot better. You know, these should stick out a little less. Maybe I'll drop one of the light rays layers. Maybe one is enough. And if I'm gonna do that, then I probably do that on the background, not the foreground. So like just drop the the foreground, I'm not sure if it needs them at all. Maybe just like a little tinge. Like to create just a little bit of a gradient on top of it. Maybe. What color am I even using for this? It's like dark. This is fairly dark. Would I? Like more greenish. Yellow, more saturated. I'm kind of... I'm not sure of these on these light rays. I'll be perfectly frank about that. I'm still not sure about them. This might just be I need to sit on it and it'll look right, or maybe this is actually communicating to me that there's some kind of problem. I think maybe I need to go back to this idea where these were actually a lot more saturated and influence the color of the background, like the tone. I don't know if you want to show them or not. I remember that something like a post going into water won't look like a straight beam. At the surface it'll bend. I'm not really showing a lot like below the surface, kind of. So I don't wanna add refraction to this because it usually looks a little weird. So it is a good point, but I don't think I want to do that. I think it would. I don't think it would look better. Okay, I think the background needs the light rays a lot more than the foreground does, and then also it kind of naturally desaturates and lightens parts of the background, which helps it stand out from the foreground. So I think my current verdict on the light rays is keep them on for the background and then leave them off for the foreground, and the foreground can stand on its own merits, kind of. And then I'm thinking maybe this this like behind waterfall could open up. What do you think of this? Like, of course, there's missing stuff from the background here, but what do you think of opening this up instead of having it like this? Or at the very least, like, cutting into it, something like that to, like, expose a little bit more of that, and also have the waterfall kind of layer on top, not just be in its own, like, isolated thing. Maybe, like, literally get rid of all of this, actually. Some rays must be thinner than others. They all have the same size and in nature it's not like that. You know, that might be a good point. Okay, let me know about this, because I think this has potential, but it's a quite radical change. So I'm not sure if I want to... Okay, I don't know if I want to commit to that, but for now, okay, let's integrate... They are not all the same size, but I do think adding a little bit of a little bit more variation to it, like adding some thin ones, I think also could help a little bit. Like we'll have some thinner than others, and then like especially somewhere like here, maybe decrease the angle at which they are, because the angles currently are fairly intense, and I think I might benefit from decreasing the intensity of those just a tad. Something like this maybe, so like the close by ones are kind of similar, or rather there's two different ones close by. This is like more differentiation. And then we might actually create like two kind of layers of those by just adjusting the color. So like make this maybe more like orange in color and then brighter. And let's see what this looks like when I actually... Now you can't really see the different... but you can see the individual rays like here and here, which I think is an improvement. Just we might want to... might want to disable that. Get rid of this like gigantic block, because the block doesn't serve any purpose really. This is, once again, the angle's too intense. Something, maybe it works. And then maybe we like use a little bit of this to like layer the rays, the light rays behind it. We could make another layer for that, but the point being, like, we would have some rays that are kind of behind other geometry. So that way they look a little more interesting, maybe. Okay, let's try what this looks like. Boom, boom. Show it to me. There's not really much of a difference in terms of like using different colors for the light rays, which I suppose is to be expected with the addition filter. If I had something like screen, it would maybe look more... there would be more of a difference. No, well, this is a little over the top, but I think that this actually might be the better one. I wish I could give you better advice, but joint backgrounds is confusing to me. Well, as you might have noticed, it's also confusing to me, but I'm trying my best to figure something out. I'd kind of like to just, you know, open this up. That's what I kind of like to do. Maybe like completely open this up. What do you think of that? You can actually see the original canvas gray. You know what? Instead of erasing this entire layer, I can just hide it. And then we can add the cliffs. And then if I don't like it, I just re-enable the layer and hide what I just added. Very simple. Let's try that, because I think this could look a lot better. Has the potential anyway to look a lot better. So, wait, what is this? Oh, this is a different layer. Hold on. Too many layers, entirely too many layers. Like, you know, that kind of thing, and then we have a little bit of the like mushroom brown dirt kind of thing. Then on top of that we have some like rough grass. That's too rough, but you know, we have a little bit of grass. Then we adjust these. And now there's more depth behind the waterfalls actually, which I think I like. Oh, and then this is just... What is this salmon color? What is this? What layer is this on? Oh, that's the very backdrop. That's the actual backdrop looks like that. It's probably some like old color I forgot to paint over. Yeah, just add that and then have a little bit of this, and that looks decent. And then we go to this one and we just continue adding a little bit of geometry on that. Actually, could be that. Kind of like how messy, how like this little bit of a messy look for this cliff is. Like I like this a little bit. And we could add a little bit of color variety. So like this would be a darker shade of brown, kind of behind here maybe. So like you can see that there's two shades. Then just add a little bit of this. That's too dark, actually. If I wanted to extend it out to here, it would have to be less dark. But not that less dark, because that less dark is like no difference. It's a mess. I understand not too much meaningful commentary. I'm just I am just making noises at this point. But this, I think, is generally an improvement over what was here before, so I'll take that. Yeah, this is an improvement over the dark layer, I think. Look, let's re-enable it again. Where is it? Scroll up. Yeah, this is definitely better. It hints at a lot more depth, and then maybe I'll make this not clip the waterfalls as hard. So foreground, what layer is this? Or like something like this, where, you know, just add like a little bit of blobs. Add some blobs to it, and then make that happen, and then we can presumably go to the waterfall layer, and then on the waterfall layer we just extend this a little bit so it's visible like properly. I like these like little splotches of dark in the middle of that. That's kind of, oh yeah, that adds a little bit to it. Maybe it's too harsh with this like dark, but I like the idea of it. So just maybe brighten them up a little bit and not quite as dark. Yeah, looks good. Not sure which change exactly, but I'll take that. I will take that and I will run with it for as long as I can possibly muster. Like that, and then maybe just add a little bit of additional dark to the operation. You know, the contrast helps this have a little bit more shape. That's what I'm thinking with adding this. Like hopefully it feels more like there's a bunch of water falling rather than this is a lot of splashes of color on top of one another. I want to kind of fool you into looking at this differently than what it actually is, which I guess is what painting is all about. So take from that what you will. Yeah, like this maybe. And then add a little bit of add like additional maybe detail to it via just adding a little bit, like a couple dots and stuff. And then we have these two, like we have water falling there, and then maybe we could use like another bit of water falling in between. That's it. That's it. Look at that. That's gonna look great. We just wanna like a version of this color that's a little brighter. And then on this cliff, if we like add, like this is gonna look really cool. And then we can even have another one in the background there, like it's falling from another side of this. Like from both sides of it, there's a little bit of water falling. That's gonna look so cool. Just observe. Whoops. Just gotta pick the right shades. And then a little darker maybe on like, yeah, a little less saturated, but that kind of like dark color. And then on top of this, we are going to just introduce slightly brighter, nicer blues. It's kind of like the recipe for this water, the style of drawing water kind of works. You just start with the darker layers and then start piling up little bits of lighter colors on top of that. This is too saturated, I think, for the background, but we can adjust that. That's not a problem. Oh yeah, and then just mask this with like, you know, like it goes in the middle, and then we just select all these and make them fit, because it currently doesn't really. So like adjust it to be a little brighter, maybe slightly desaturate. Actually, saturation could keep around the same level. Yeah, that was way too intense. But the dark could use to be a little bit darker. So readjust it, darken these colors, keep them a little bit desaturated, and maybe shift them towards blue a little bit more. Yeah, and that looks better. That looks a lot better. These additional like water streams, so you can kind of see that this is similar. Like, you know, I'm calling back to the two big waterfalls in the more in the foreground. I'm thinking, what if I had like a little water curtain falling down in the foreground here as well? I don't know if I can do this really, like, if this is gonna look any good, but I think I would not like it if I didn't try. So let's throw another layer on top of this whole mess, and then that would be like, that's too thick, but like, you know, something like this, and then we have like more bits of just. The further down we go, we kind of have a brighter outlook. I mean, brighter colors, brighter blues. What do you think of this idea? If you're still watching, what you think of this, like, foreground waterfall? I kind of like it, and I kind of don't like it. I think I like the idea of it more than I like the execution I currently have. That's what I think my take on this is. But the execution can be improved, which might mean this is a good idea. It could be a little more out of focus. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of trying to do with like the big blobs, but maybe I'll actually literally just blur it because it's in the foreground. Since I already am using blur in a different place, so it doesn't really, and it's fine. It doesn't blur too much. Like it's not a problem. It doesn't look bad. Okay, this needs to be slightly adjusted to be more vertical. And then on top of that, we stack a new filter, and then we choose blur and then lens blur. Does it make sense to have a lens blur on this? I kind of like it. Maybe I overblew the like amount of blur, but we can adjust that. Actually, I like this. I like this being like very blurred. What do you think of this? Maybe we hit it with a little bit of transparency as well. Maybe I move it over. A little darker. You know what? That's a good point. That's a good point. We can try it. Yeah, so it doesn't steal as much attention from the rest of it. Like flatten out the colors a little bit and desaturate it. Since yeah, exactly, as you're saying, exactly. It's a good point. Maybe move it up. I kind of like having it maybe like this, and then just adding because the background, okay, because the background is also gonna have like a little bit of soft gradient in it due to these highlights. Yeah, this is coming. This is coming together. This is coming together. Okay, so now just disable that for a short second, because I want to remove this blob because it doesn't really fit with the rest of it, and then we just add, like, you know, a second layer of it to it. Wow, my Krita is lagging with this project. I have too many layers, I guess, maybe. Maybe. Could be the truth. Could be possible. A little too many. I just wanna, you know, I wanna have two, but the second one I want to just have a little hint of, like a lot less pronounced. I originally wanted to have some like greenery hanging from that, but I think this is actually better. Why is this not blurring? Wait, the blur layer also has a thing? That's weird. Feel your computer suffering. Yeah, it shouldn't have too much trouble with it. It's a powerful machine. I mean, it is a laptop, but it's a gaming laptop with an RTX 3050. So, like, I understand laptop GPUs are less powerful than regular ones, but, like, come on. You can like, this thing can run ray tracing, right? Surely it shouldn't be suffering with just a couple layers of an image like this. But depends on the software, I suppose, and what exactly it is doing. Okay, just tad less on the intensity of the background rays, so the effect isn't overwhelming, so you don't see the effect before you see what is actually painted in the background. I'm thinking this is... I'm thinking this is looking pretty darn good. I'm wondering if I wanna add something to it before I call it basically done. Huh. I think the right side needs a little bit of because the water is mostly concentrated on the left. So I'm thinking the right side cliffs maybe need a little bit of that as well. This water looks kind of odd. So if I'm gonna call it finished, I'd rather adjust that because I don't want it to draw attention to itself. Backdrop? That's not backdrop, that's this layer. Yeah. There we go. Let's grab this and then adjust it from both sides, like shrink it a little bit. Basically, I'm thinking. Yes, it's beautiful. Yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. I really like this like blurred effect on this. It does add a lot in terms of depth for the image. I would kind of like something on this side as well like it. Not sure what it should be, if I should just like add another waterfall, but that would feel like copy paste. I'm thinking maybe like a little tree branch, maybe like going across the top right corner. Something like that. And it would also be blurred, so you are looking like from between some other geometry basically in the foreground is what I would think this could be. That's the basic idea I'd like to go for on that. Yeah, try it. Okay, in a little hot second, I wanna like fix up this pool of water here, and I could actually bring out these guys from the foreground and just have some of these, because if I'm using an element, I kind of want it to be in at least 2 different places on the image, because then if it's in 2 different places on the image, then it builds like connectivity between the bits of it. So it looks like the entire thing is part of like one more cohesive world, rather than I thought of this random element, so I just added in one place and called it a day. Which I'm just changing it to, yeah, I thought of this like cool element, but I added it in 2 places instead of 1, which, well, looks better than if it's just 1. You know, tricks like that. I think this looks better if it's covered up like this a little bit, and then the way the background would look framed, exactly. That's kind of what I'm hitting at. I want to edit this guy's face a little bit. It looks wrong. It bothers me. There's something about it. Okay, right side cliffs. We hit the right side cliffs with a little bit of like additional grass detail. And then maybe on top of it, I could just add a touch of like water falling from there. Yeah, I think this is right. I think this is a correct idea to just add this on top of it. Yeah, just call back to the blue a little bit. It doesn't fit quite right, but we'll fix that in a hot second. And then another highlight color on top of all of that. This is going to be covered up a little bit by the branch I'm planning to add in a second, so it can look like that, doesn't really matter. Just add like grass shapes to the top of that. Something like this, and then let's go for the like foreground in front of the foreground, which we can take, I think, easily out of that. And then we probably just add it on the same. This is like just call it blurred. That's fine. I'll understand what I'm talking about when I call it blurred. And then we just disable the blur for a second, and we grab probably like a dark brown. Not quite as dark, because Ooh, I could also like add some leaves to it as well. I'm thinking something like this, because a little bit of this is going to be visible through the tree. So it is fine if this is, you know, this is something like that. And then I could add a highlight. Like a highlight to it. Kind of like this. A little bit. It's going to be blurred, so it doesn't really matter, but I want it to be saturated. 2. Maybe too thick, kind of. Too thick if I'm going to have leaves on it. I don't want it to be quite that. Like, I don't want it to be quite that thick. And then leaves would be like basically just once again like green. I just add some green blobs and hope they look good when they get blurred. Worst case scenario, we just get rid of it, so it's fine. Probably overdid it in this place. Yeah, but just introducing this seems to have helped. Yeah, something like this, and let's enable the blur again. Wait, no, the layer is now blurred wrong. Need a rectangle on this stat. Fill, foreground color, no outline. Bro, please. Thank you. Yo. I'm thinking this was a good idea. Just a tinge more blur to it. And then also, what if this was lower? No, this is too low. I'm wondering maybe it should be more like this. Like, not the horrendous shape of this layer, but... No, that's too much. It's blocking that kind of cliff. I'm thinking of kind of making it like this, where you can kind of see above the top right of it a little bit. But maybe that's overdoing the effect, because this is just like a little bonus accent. So maybe it should be just out of frame. There's a little bit of delay, so if you say there, I don't really know. I don't know. I'm thinking basically just the top right corner, and then along the side of the screen is kind of good. Something like this. Wait, there's a view fit to view with. I'm thinking pretty good. These leaves look kinda awful actually, and these are too saturated. Let's fix that, I guess. Disable the light rays, please, for now. I need to go to bed, but I'm also kind of excited to finish this. I liked when the tree was more visible. Yeah, I kind of like it, but then I also don't like the fact that it covers up a lot of what's on the right side. Like when I move this, it like covers up a bunch of the right side of the image. So I don't want to overdo it, but then I also kind of like how it masks a little bit of it too. Like it's not just a downgrade straight up. Or maybe rotate it a little more and have something like this going on. I don't know if this is not too much, because I also don't want to... Like, I don't want this massive... You know what? No, I don't want this massive blurry blob to be taking up a lot of the image. On the left, it's fine with the waterfall, because you can kind of see behind it, and it adds to the cliff. But on the right, it's there mostly for just to balance out the blur in this side. So I don't want to overdo it, is basically my thought process for leaving it like that. I wanted to adjust something, and I've completely forgotten. Oh, the leaves. Okay. Now I remember. This left tree. These leaves are completely oversaturated. And too dark. Yeah, that's better. They don't stick out quite as much, but these leaves look bad. Like straight up look bad. I don't know what to do with them though. Maybe I could completely remove them. But I think the correct idea is to make them more scarce. Middle tree. So just like eat most of what I've done here with that. This is probably excessive. Like trim it down to much more reasonable, simple branch structure. Then add like a little bit of additional detail to it, and then decorate it with leaves, but be careful not to make the leaves like... There should be literally a couple leaves on these, like on the end of these branches. There shouldn't be like a massive bush of leaves, because this is not the kind of like a branch that's this far down the tree wouldn't have that many leaves. It would be a lot more like what I'm doing right now with it. That's what I'm thinking is would be happening. Like maybe even this is too much. I'm introducing like clutter for no reason. Drop the amount of these down significantly. Like literally just symbolically add a couple. So it looks more like a branch than anything else. And same here. Like this is a mess and it shouldn't be. Like once again, get rid of most of what is there right now. Simplify it significantly. Like add a little bit of like flair to the shape of these. That kind of makes sense. I like this stream. I'm learning a lot. Well, I'm happy to provide. I don't know what you would be learning, but I guess you can get some experience by proxy, by just me trying to figure this out. So you know what? If you're getting something out of it, I'm very happy about that. Okay, yeah, that is decent. Yeah, I think this is an improvement. And then we just... I need to like decrease the how harsh this branch looks. Which I think, yeah, if it's a thin branch, then it should be way lighter. Shouldn't be as harsh, this harsh dark color, because if it's this harsh dark color, then it doesn't look right. And same actually with this part of it as well. It should be very much less harsh. Because otherwise it looks thicker than it actually is on the image. Yeah, sure, whatever, something like this, blah blah blah. And then this is a little bit of a mess on this. I guess it's fine. We can have a little bit of additional clutter on this branch. I'm fine with that. And then this kind of would help if I had a similar, because currently it looks like I just forgot to do it for this one. So I'm going to quickly add a little bit of leaves, like leaf dots, blobs on top of this as well. So that doesn't feel left out. Just a tad, just a little bit, just a couple. Yeah, just to like give the impression that these are leaves more than I actually want to introduce much detail to it. This is just basically like a little bonus in the background. You know what? This kind of happened by accident, but I could add some of these leaves, like one or two leaves actually falling from this, and that way it looks a little more dynamic. Actually, some particles in the light rays could also go a long way in terms of adding just that little additional touch that's gonna make it look better. Middle tree, that's the layer. So, like you see that just these. Hell yeah. Very simple, slight touch, but yeah, very simple, slight touch, but it adds a lot. Look at that. I'm happy with it. Now, why are the leaves falling? Because it looks cool. There's literally no other reason. This is probably not a good explanation for why this like type of, like, it's very green and like middle of summer type look for the entire image, but the leaves are falling, and it is literally just for the reason because it looks cool. And then we go to the left tree as well, and we give it a similar treatment by erasing most of what is here currently, because this is actually not that close to the end of the branches. Like this, maybe this branch is a little closer to like the end of the tree, but that's only because I drew it kind of wrong. So this is like very much thicker. So then if I wanted to introduce like leaves, I'd probably have to add like little protruding branches, like this, like little protrusions from the tree in like different, like one or two, probably just one or two. So like maybe one, add one like here. But this is just something that is, you know, sticking out of the tree. And it kind of grew like this, and so now it exists and can have a little bit of leaves. I'm not sure about this one. It kind of looks bad. I'll be honest. Now this one, we are canceling this one. We're actually undoing all of this. This doesn't look good. I think this is good enough. This little bit of empty space as well is a nice, is nice to have there. We are gonna be sticking with like this one branch up here, and I think that's enough. I've been going for 2 hours and 40 minutes. 40 minutes? No way. That's not true. No, 14 minutes. Okay, that's not too bad. I confused myself for a second there. I was starting to be afraid that I'm like going for like an insane amount of time. It's just slightly too long, but this is crunch time. we're just finishing this off. That is what is happening here. Okay, and then we can add to this like a little darker and more saturated and green. Like a little bit of just a little addition of leaves. This tree is getting too thin too fast. If you look at this is way, like, it's losing thickness at a rate that doesn't look realistic. Like, doesn't look right, more than doesn't look realistic. Like, I want this to be branching out, but maybe just add a little bit of this as well, so it branches out in that direction too. Okay, yeah, that's an improvement because it feels more balanced like this. But this needs to be thicker on this side then, which is fine. It can be. There's like no downside to making this a little more thick. That's right. Very good. This tree's looking more balanced. 2 hours, aren't you tired? I am tired as hell. It's midnight currently, and I do have to work tomorrow. However, I am also being fueled by this looking pretty good and wanting to basically get it mostly done, if not completely done. So I'm just kind of continuing on it. And then we carve this into a more believable tree type shape. Adjust this a tad. Don't overwork yourself. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I am in control of this. I actually do want to spend a little bit more time, because strike while the iron is hot is my approach for this, and if it's going pretty good and I have a little bit of flow and I understand what I'm doing and the changes that are missing, then I'd rather spend the time, because I can manage. I'm gonna be fine tomorrow. It's not too bad. It's not like I literally am not gonna be able to work. It's waking up is gonna be a little more rough, but that's fine. That's acceptable. It's an acceptable trade-off for getting a little more done on this. I can manage. Alright, this is a huge improvement for these leaves. There's leaves missing from this, which we are going to fill right now. I'll just little additional details. No, the devil is in the details, and I do think that adding like little bits like this adds a lot to the final look. Okay, now we have the light rays on top of that. Now this looks a lot better than when we had the massive blobs. This is looking a little empty. Here, a little empty and a little too bright, I think. So slight adjustment to that. We are going to find which layer that is on and change it so there's a little bit more of this dark shade and move a little bit of this brighter shade there. Now that looks a hell of a lot less flat, which is a somewhat important detail because Ori is in the foreground here, so I don't want them to I want him to stand out a little bit. Yeah. Then while I'm at it, I might as well introduce a little bit, like a touch of grass to this place. slightly. I wanted to add some moss to these. I don't know if I'm gonna do it though, because they kind of look nice how they are. Maybe we'll say no to the moss idea. Yeah, I don't want additional green. The image is green enough, I think, as is. But this could use a little bit of blending with the ground. Just on this mushroom. You know, a little bit of additional blending doesn't hurt anybody. Not sure if I'm actually blending anything though. No, I am. It's fine. I can just blend with like one color over. That's fairly simple. And then instead of having this be like that, we just cut into each side of it a little bit. Ooh, okay. I'm seeing these like little additional blobs. Could work. Could work. And just introduce like this. Just tiny bits of additional detail. But make sure it doesn't look bad. Which, I don't know, I'm not too happy with this mushroom, but I'm gonna leave it be. Mostly. Okay, yeah, it's starting to look a little more organic, like this. Yeah, this is looking a lot better immediately. So that is an adjustment I want to make to it. Then we unblock, we show the light rays again, but we throw an additional layer on top of the light rays, and I think pure white is going to be a decent idea, and then we can introduce where there's a little bit of like darker. Like little bits of, you know, a little particle effect. Very simple and subtle particle effect, but might recolor these actually to not be pure white now that I think about it again. Probably want something more greenish so they don't quite stick out as hard, and they are not like, I still no, they can't be that saturated, but something like this probably works okay-ish. And then we can have like brighter highlights up there. These are too regular. Something like this. It doesn't look quite like what it is supposed to represent. How do you say mushroom in Polish? Grzyb. Or maybe muchomor, depending on the type of mushroom. Because mushroom is like a catch-all term, and then yeah, like little additional highlights in where the light beams are. What do you think of those? Improvement? I'm thinking improvement. I was right, it's hard. Yeah, depending on what language you're coming from, Polish might be fairly difficult. We have a bunch of like weird words in there. Okay, let's maybe give it like around the waterfalls as well. Have a little bit of like additional Couple additional white branches. Hello, welcome back. We've changed, the image has changed a little bit since you've left, I think. The particles add a lot. Yeah, I think I might also be slightly overdoing it. I'm not sure. Speak Spanish, actually. I've got no clue about Spanish, so I can't I can't really confirm nor deny if it's easy or hard to learn it while it's Spanish, like coming from Spanish, it's easy to learn Polish, but I definitely wish you luck. You'll probably need it. I think I'm overdoing the... Yeah, I need the particles to be a little more scarce. I don't want the entire thing to be coated in just random dots. So let's erase some of these. And we're still gonna be good. But just having a couple. Yeah, this is better because like I overdid it. This is better, most definitely. Okay, last thing I think I want to adjust before going to bed is probably I want to adjust Ori because he looks weird. Sorry, Ori, you will need to be adjusted a little bit. Let's do that very quickly. I need to go to bed. It's time to go to bed. Okay, this is like, yeah, okay, this is why it's weird, because this thing is connected to the side of his head, and then his eye's on top of it, which looks weird. If I move his eye more here, but then make it the correct shape, like actually completely adjust his face. Maybe. Yeah, now it... Time to go to bed was like 2 hours ago. Half an hour ago at the latest probably was the time, but... We ball. I should be looking at the reference for this, because kind of winging it. It's partly good, partly bad. Not sure what shape his face is. Let's take the reference. I have it somewhere. There we go. I have it on my bookmarks bar because I figured, hey, I'll probably need quick access to this. He's actually got a... Okay. He's got even larger eyes than this, and they are not this shape. They are more like this, like in this direction. And then he's got that, and then they are more like... He's more like this, but I kind of overdid it. Well, what am I doing? Oh, I'm drawing on the wrong layer. That's what I'm doing. Undo that. And then he's got like a thin mouth. So like that is more like it. Then this is too... Screw it, I'm merging these two layers together. It's gonna be easier to work with when it's on one, and worst case scenario I can separate it into two fairly easily. Okay, yeah, this is starting to look like something. Then we... This is actually much darker on him. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go with that. This is much more like actual Ori eye shape. Much more round too. Better, but not quite what I want this to look like. I don't know what facial expression I want to give him, actually. I've not thought about that for so long. I really haven't touched this, but I haven't touched this, like, the actual foreground part of the image for, like, ages. So it's just been like that. I haven't really thought about it much. No, I'm not really sure what... Gonna go to sleep. Good night. I should probably do that as well, but... He looks a little sad now. I don't want him to look sad. There we go, that's a little bit better. Maybe something like this. Then... No, that's not better, that's worse. Like, the face is alright, I think, by now. This needs work. Yeah, okay, okay. I think we need one more darker shade on him. Like, to differentiate some things from other things. Maybe. So this is my amount of commentary I'm able to do while doing this has been stably plummeting over time and has probably reached absolute bottom of the barrel. Most definitely should be going to sleep. Do I give him... Do I do like a little bit of this? Like, is the other knees also sticking out on the other side? Because I feel like that would make sense. But... makes sense versus looks right. It's like two completely different problems. Yeah, maybe. A little bit of this. I think I should, at this point, I think I should reintroduce the glow around Ori. Because he is shining, like he's shiny in the game. And he is, even in the images, he's casting a little bit light underneath him on the rock. So I think it only makes sense to make him glow a little bit. I'm trying to define the shape a little bit. Yeah, give it a little bit of a shape via these more aggressive shades. But I also need the eyes to be visible. Make him shine, yeah. I'm gonna do that. I'm thinking that's a decent idea. Boop. And this, just to like define the shape of him once again a little bit better. Too harsh. A little bit of like this, like maybe on his hands, something. Yeah, you know what? This is not looking too bad. Not looking bad at all. And this is actually more than a shadow. I just want to like highlight that, like I want to punctuate the shape a little bit better. And then I can probably do that. You know what? Doesn't look too bad. This might be the one part I actually come back and tweak later when I'm woken up and I have a little bit more like a fresh look on it again. I might come back to this and tweak it a slight bit before I'm fully happy with it, but okay. I think this is pretty good for anatomy that I really don't have much experience with. And then we fix this up because it's been kind of not adjusted after I moved him at all. You know, just like a reverse shadow because he's like casting light on the surface where he's standing. Something like this. Although maybe I'll, because I'm still making him glow, so don't overdo it with the highlight on the rock ways. I think it's probably the better play to do with this kind of situation. Now let's just make him shiny. Yeah, that's on the foreground. I already had like a blob shape around him, but yeah, I had this. I might just reuse this layer and just add filter mask, blur, Gaussian, simple Gaussian blur, and then make them like shiny. Okay, and then throw this on addition. And then maybe instead of using pure white, we tint it slightly to be like blue-ish. Like how much would very blue look? Like I'm thinking make him glow slightly blue. And that will blend less with his blend less with the white that's on him generally. And then I just like decrease the sheer size of this to basically just be his body instead of having all this like additional extra padding around him, because the effect is pronounced enough as is. We don't need to make it a massive blob as well, so it's going to contribute to losing the shape a little bit. That's that. Re-enable the glow. Now he's glowing. This fits. This fits. Maybe we can expand the blur though a little bit. We could add 2 glows to it. Like duplicate it. And then the other one we do. That's a trick I've learned when I was doing like kinda. There you go. So now you have like the more intense glow like close, and then you have a second layer that's the less intense glow like further out, and then just don't want to overblow the effect, but I think I did overblow the effect a little bit, but you get the point maybe. Actually, let's add a clone layer, apply this to the clone. This is the original, duplicate this layer, delete this one, and this is glow. This is the source, and then we have the Ori glow small, and then Ori glow big. Just this. This is like the very slight 3 degree. Let's say 3.9 pixels. You sound tired? Yeah, I am. I'll be frank. And we make them much more glowy in this. And this way we can collapse these, and then the glow big should be maybe even more intense actually, and then we disable that and we go for the small glow and we make it just very slight. Now it looks proper shiny. Now the rock doesn't look quite right, which okay, do that because it doesn't make sense otherwise. This. Now this. No, this looked better before I changed anything. Yeah, just want that little dot to be gone. Right, boom, and then we just adjust the rock and I'm going to bed. Holy moly, this has been a stark difference in terms of before and after. Yeah, just actually make him highlight this blue, which is I think a good idea because he's glowing. We did make him glow a little bit blue. So like this probably is the brighter, more intense. Boy, this has been a good time in terms of improving this. I'm very happy with the changes tonight. It took a little long in terms of time, but not a problem. Honestly, not a problem. I'm thinking maybe introducing a little bit of texture on this as well. Like in terms of rock, but that's probably just gonna make it look wet. Yeah, I don't want the rock to look wet. That's the thing. So like too much variation on it, but I want it to be glowy and also slightly reflective. And then maybe I just tone it down. And if I tone it down, it fits correctly and it's fine. I think select these two, adjust them slightly darker, desaturate, or maybe, yeah, desaturate a little bit. No, they need to be brighter than the surrounding. And something like this. Yeah, that's better. Whoops. I hate, I sometimes can't just can't redo for some reason. I don't know why that happens. But sometimes I'm just disallowed from redoing when I make a color adjustment like this. Mildly annoying. Damn it. I know perfectionism is gonna be my downfall one day, but feel your pain. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Okay. I think this is it for tonight. and might actually be it for the image. I don't know if I'm gonna adjust anything else about this. I think this looks pretty darn good, honestly. Let's view this as high of a resolution as we can by fit to view with, and then doing this. All right. Holy moly. Oh. I like I'm all like tensed up because I've been just going non-stop for the past 2 hours 45 minutes, but well worth it, I think. Criminally tired at the moment, so I will go to bed and I will enjoy a nice night's sleep. And maybe there will be one more stream on this in particular. I don't know. I'll see what I feel about this when I wake up, honestly, because I need a little bit of distance from it to kind of judge it. But I'm very happy with the progress, and I lied. I'm changing one more thing. I wanted to change this before, but I forgot. This just cut into the side of the thing here a little bit. That's what I wanted to do, because this is too like regular. It doesn't fit with the rest of it. Yeah, that's better. And then just a little touch of I completely broke my own pace in terms of ending the stream, but that's all right. I just one thing, just one adjustment, blah blah blah. We understand. Yeah, go to bed. I get it, but I can't let this go. All right, now we can call it. Can we? I need to stop. 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 I should stop. Whatever. I know. This is live. My brain is fighting with itself to actually go to bed, and I don't know. I don't know which side is winning, but I think that was actually needed before I went. So all right, this is gonna be it for this one. Thank you very much for sticking by me for a while. Enjoy whatever time of day it currently is. Like, good night, good day, good something. Once again, thank you very much, and bye. I'm going to bed.